I'm Dina.
And I'm Dane.
And we're the Irelands.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Double Decker Family. Today I really wanted to take an opportunity to introduce my wife. This is Dina.
Hi.
We're actually in Hawaii right now on our last vacation as a couple before we hit the road with our children for the next 2 years. And so we wanted to take an opportunity to just sit down and kind of answer some of the questions that we've been getting over the past few months as we've announced our journey to some people and kind of shared it with different people along the way. So we wanted to answer a few things about what we've got going on. So hopefully you like this video. We're going to talk a little bit more about what this channel is really going to become and what our plans are for it. So far to this point, I have focused most of our videos on the bus itself and converting the bus into an RV or a roaming tiny home, as we like to call it. I think that just makes people feel better about it, but it's an RV. And ultimately, as we move forward, that's really not going to be our focus. The bus is really great, it's really cool, but that's not what we're going to be focusing on as we go forward. It's mostly our adventures is what we're going to really talk about and focus the whole channel on. So if you like what you've seen so far, and if you're interested in following our journey more, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share this video. We're happy to answer questions all the time. One of the things that a lot of people have asked is why? Why are we going to be traveling as much as we plan to? What we're doing and why we're going about this. So yeah, it's just been, I guess we live a pretty normal life with just like most people, I suppose. I work a 40-hour work week, and our kids go to school, to public schools, and ultimately it just, with 6 kids and the commute and 45 minutes to an hour long commute every day, really wasn't getting any time with the kids and with the family, and that was taking a toll on me and on Dina. That meant she was dealing with the kids alone when they did get home, because I wasn't home yet, and ultimately it just meant we weren't getting the family time that we wanted and needed.
We felt like we just were never seeing each other, and there were a lot of days that Dane would never ever see the kids because of his long work schedule, and then compare that with the kids' long schedule, it was just really hard for us to have any sort of togetherness, and we really struggled with that, and we want to just, and it was like the time off and stuff that you were getting, it was being spent with like other things, like you had to take sick days. And
last summer we decided we'd take a family vacation just in our van. We have a Ford Transit van, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking. We have twins that are 2 years old, and last summer they were 1, and so taking that trip with the 1-year-olds and then all the other kids. Our oldest is 8, our youngest is now 2, with the twins there, and that trip was really nerve-wracking. We were nervous as could be about taking that trip. We were going to drive from Dallas to basically Salt Lake City and back, and we were going to take a few days to do it. Didn't plan for a lot of stops along the way, other than staying the night at a hotel and then continuing on our way. And ultimately, the kids really did great. They were awesome the entire trip. They did fantastic. They were wonderful, and the whole trip, even when we got to where we were going in Utah, they just were having a great time. We stopped at a few places along the way, headed up to Utah, and then spent some time with Dina's family there in Utah. And then, I had to get back to work. So we jumped in the van and started heading back to work, and we were kind of racing against the clock to get back to my job. When we passed the Great Sand Dunes in Colorado, and we started talking about how great the kids have been on this trip, and that maybe we just wanted to do this more often. We wanted to go and just explore the country. Maybe we needed to rent an RV. One thing led to another. I got on this trail about the RVs, and then I got to like schoolies, and like converting an old school bus, and that seemed really cool. And I started following some other YouTube channels, and they were doing schoolies or big families living in converted buses. And then I saw this double-decker bus come up for sale. It seemed like, you know, if I could convert this bus into an RV, it would fit our family perfectly. I think. We still don't know. I guess that's still to be determined if it actually fits us. But
and we looked for a long time at RVs that would fit our family, but it was like everything like wanted us to convert like a dinette or a couch to being a permanent sleeping space, and we really wanted personal space for each of our kids because we felt like that was what could potentially help lead us to being able to go full-time long-term.
Absolutely, yeah. So one of the things was those conversions. Like a lot of fifth wheels, a lot of RVs have those multi-use spaces.
Like they can sleep enough, but it's only if they're a multi-use space.
Yeah. And we didn't want that. We wanted at any time for the kids to be able to like just close off their area. So the bus, if you've seen the previous videos, it's got those pods, and those really worked perfectly for us, that we were able to have those pods for each of the kids. I think that will give them the privacy that they may desire at times, the separation that we might desire for them to have at sometimes, and really just ultimately lead to a better life on the road. So we feel like that's a pretty good setup for us, that double decker. And as soon as we found the double decker, we began looking at like who could convert it. And still at this point, we were still a little bit on the trail of maybe we're just going to rent it out as we go. Like we'll go every few weekends, do a little trip. But as we got to really considering things, it got to that point in our conversations where I just kind of looked at her and I said, that's it. Like I'm done trying to race home to get to somebody else's like dream, right? So that, and nothing against my boss. I love my boss. Is really great guy. Like it really wasn't fitting what we wanted to do with our lives and with our family. And so when we found this double decker, decided we were going to convert it, it really was just like a big blessing to us that we could afford it. It was within our means, and ultimately gave us an opportunity. I mean, especially through COVID, when our kids were doing all this virtual school anyways, it gave us a really good excuse to go for it and give it a try. Hit the road full time. I say full time meaning really we're going to be moving from place to place. We will be roaming and just visiting spots for a few days at a time at most. And ultimately that's just so that our children can get familiar with the world around them. We feel a great responsibility to teach our children about the environment, about history, about where they come from, and being stationary, being stuck in one spot, I don't think it was going to give them that. We prayed a lot about our family and what our family should look like, what it should be, before we even got married, and we were instructed to have a large family, to have 6 kids, and to have them fairly close together. And just like we were instructed with our family, we feel like this was something we were instructed to do, to go give our children this experience and live a better life with them, a more minimalist life, taking in all that's around us. And so we're excited to do that. We are, anxious about what this will mean for our kids and for us. Trying to teach the children while we're in the bus. That's another question we get a lot, is about education. And so we are working on different methods of homeschooling. As we traveled, we ultimately ended up taking a few extra stops on that one trip back home from Utah that were unplanned, but the children loved.
Well, we decided pretty early on to do the longer route because it the scenic route.
The scenic route for that trip, yeah.
Because it was like a half hour longer to do this road that we hadn't traveled before, and we kind of liked the idea of just seeing something different because we've done that drive from Dallas to Salt Lake quite a bit. And we chose to do like the more scenic route because it was a half hour longer, so like a half hour is not a big deal. And it was just incredibly beautiful to see like the expanse of the countryside, just from a different point of view than just being on the freeway or.
Yeah, and I think because we've traveled the route from Texas to Utah. We've done it. Both of us have done it multiple times. My family lives in the Dallas area, and her family lives in the Salt Lake City area. So we've gone back and forth driving a few times, but with all the kids, we'd only done it once or twice, and this was really the first big one with the twins.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal, and I'm thankful we did.
Yeah.
It was actually really, really beautiful. We discovered some places that we weren't aware were even that even existed. So
yeah.
it was really, really nice thing to do, and
we want more of that,
Yeah, like that's the whole thing. We just
Yeah.
want more of those experiences where like we discover things that we've never seen before. Like we've never had the opportunity to go certain places or do certain things, and we get to share that with our kids. It's so amazing. So I guess the next question that we get in regards to all of this is, what is the plan? What is our plan on the road?
So we're planning on doing 2 years. Is our cross fingers that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're hoping we can make it through. Obviously, there may be challenges with
Right.
the kids.
And we're doing like 2 weeks in each state, like a variety of what that is like a bigger state will do a little bit more time and a smaller state will do less time. And we're going to fly to Hawaii and Alaska near the end of our trip, and we're going to just try and do 2 weeks every 50 states. So in 2 years our kids will have experience
All over the United States.
And hopefully experience lots of different cultures and mind views.
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately they'll get to see all the cultures. They'll see the diversity throughout the country. They'll see the not just the diversity in people, but the diversity in environments. All the different states. We feel really strongly that every state has some really, really beautiful and amazing scenery, just things to see, as well as some incredible history. So 2 weeks approximately in every state. And then obviously, a state like Texas or California that's just massive, we'll spend more time in. So there's just, there are still some things that aren't just like set in stone. Our specific route isn't, set in stone. That's what we have to do. We plan on kind of winging it a little bit along the way. There are, at times, there's like certain places that we know we want to be during certain times, or but we'll basically just be winging it, driving pretty much every day to each destination, attraction, or whatever it is along the way.
So basically we want to focus on this video, or on the videos, is like more like our adventures. Yeah, it's a big thing that we want to do.
Yeah, I think it's important because we want our channel to really be focused on the adventure, where we're going, what we're experiencing, the beauty of where we're going, the history, kind of where we've been, where we are now, and where we're headed. So we're going to spend a lot less time focusing on...
There will be a little bit of family vlogging type of stuff, but it's not a lot. But it's just the nature of our family,
Right. The ultimate purpose of this channel is really about our adventures, not our family. And so I think that's kind of just important for us to stress what we're going to be sharing. Because that's another thing that a lot of people have asked, like what kind of things are we going to be sharing with people? So what else here? So, we already talked a little bit about this one, what we won't be sharing.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we're not going to be sharing much of our family budget and our family finances. Not going to be sharing too much about daily life in the RV as much as we will about the adventures outside of the RV. The RV is just getting us from point A to point B, but the channel's not about the RV. So this isn't like a reality TV of watching us parent our children and things like that. So then we also had some people have asked, where all are we going to be sharing our journey? Where are we sharing?
So we have an Instagram, which is Double Decker Fam.
Double Decker Fam. So if you go to Instagram, just at Double Decker Fam, That's our Instagram channel.
And we have a blog that is
It's double decker, right? So it's 6 letters, DBLDKR.
yeah.
So doubledecker.com is our blog, and I will tell you, like right now, there's I think there's like 800 articles on there, but none of them have anything to do with the double decker or
At this point, yeah.
right at this point. We will be putting more. We will be blogging pretty regularly about our adventures, but right now, I basically just took all the blogs that I have and I just threw them all onto the one domain name. So there's a lot of mishmash on there. We've had guest posts from family that had posted on our other blogs and things like that. So if you go there now, you're welcome to, but it's just not going to be a lot about the bus or a lot about our adventures just yet. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, I think
And that was most of the questions that we've received.
so.
Do you have anything else that you want to share?
I don't know. Dane and I both come from really large families. So Dane has 7 siblings and I have 6 siblings. So it's like, that's something, I guess, a tidbit.
Yeah. So a lot of people have commented that, our family's really large, but for both of us, it's fairly, normal, if not on the smaller end.
Yeah.
So that's a great tidbit about us.
Yeah.
Again, we really appreciate everybody that follows our channel. It's going to follow our adventure. We'd love to hear from you. I want to hear where you're going. Where are you headed? What have you done? Where have you been? And what would you like to see us do, or where should we go?
Yeah, we totally want, we can Google search and we can find where Google says it's cool to do, but we'd love to know what you guys love to do.
Yeah,
and
so
where have you been that it's been just priceless?
Yeah, drop it in the comments. Let us know where you've been or where you're going or where you are right now, especially if you're another full-time, RV family. Share it with us. Let us know. Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from everybody and really just get to know the whole community of people that are doing similar things or those that are interested in it at some point. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of failures along the way. I've never stayed one night in an RV, so I'm sure it'll be interesting for me. And I know their family had an RV growing up, but she was just a kid, so I don't know how much she experienced with maintaining the RV and that kind of stuff.
I don't recall ever doing anything like to maintain.
Dad didn't make you change tires or anything.
No.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you so much for dropping by this time. Again, like, subscribe, share. Let us know where you are, where you've been, where you're headed. And we'd love to meet as many of you as possible out on the road. Again, we're going to focus this on just the adventure and bonding with our children and having a great time over the next 2 years. Our entire plan ends in 2 years. We don't know beyond that what's going to be going on. So we have a 2-year plan, and then we'll see from there what happens. So thanks so much. You guys take care.
Bye.
There's a lot of wind in Hawaii, and so if you can't hear us well, I apologize. We're just at a public park. We're between the water that's just 50 feet this way, and
the line back here, I don't know if you can see the ocean, but the green line is,
so there's some water you might be able to see back there a little bit, but we're also just feet away from Kamehameha Highway, and so the cars have been pretty loud. I apologize for that. We'll try to pick better locations to film from next time, but hopefully it wasn't too bad this time. All right, take care.
Take care. Bye.